Well, happy Halloween. It's October 31st, and I'm Jeff Berger. Welcome to my Holistic Mental Fitness series, where myself and Mupo Entertainment, who I'm very excited to be partnered with, believes that mental fitness is the new physical health. So, with that, before I actually bring on my very, very special guest for tonight, Mary Lou Tierney, to the stage, if I may. So, many of you know, and for those that don't know, I'm a certified holistic wellness coach, and I'm also humbled to be affiliated with an amazing group of humanitarian entrepreneurs who are aligned with the only holistic mental wellness company that's focusing on the microbiome. And some of you say, "What's that?" What it is? It's your gut brain heart access, and it's your gut brain heart access health, and a science that I truly believe is disrupting the health and wellness industry today, especially when it comes to mental health. Who out there hasn't experienced stress, anxiety, depression, or even has had suicidal thoughts? This interview series for me, it's very near and dear to my heart because it's about sharing stories of others, opening conversations from all areas of wellness to help people understand it's okay to talk about mental health. Share your experiences and become informed of alternative solutions and options that are actually out there that are safe and work. I'm living testimonial to that. So, what we do is we provide real solutions for real people who are actually looking to take control of their physical and mental health, who are barely surviving to thriving again. And you know what? There is no physical health without mental wellness because they're actually two sides of the same coin, and they are vital for each other and our ability to reach our peak potential in this one life that we get to live. So, how you feel is not just in your head, it's also in your gut. And this is what I've been preaching and talking about for the last couple of years. I'm really passionate about it and getting to the root cause, which is where it is, the gut. And this is what we really do best. So, with that, before I introduce my very, very special guest here, I want to go cut to one more commercial. But Mupo Entertainment, I'm really humbled to be aligned with this amazing woman, Michelle Mupo, and her business, allowing me to do my interview series on her Mupo TV channel. And for those who have an app, you can download the app via the Android or from an iPhone. And it's also streaming to Roku, to Fire Stick, to YouTube. And you can access a plethora of other people who are sharing their stories and sharing their expertise and just spilling their hearts with information for people that are out there, just kind of looking for some real deep down stuff. So with that, when I come back, we're going to have Mary Lou Tierney with us. We'll be right back. Okay, we are back, and I want to introduce my special guest, Mary Lou Tierney, and she is actually coming to us from Magnolia, which is a city sandwiched in between Manchester by the Sea and Gloucester, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing areas. I've been in Gloucester, I've been in Manchester by the Sea, but I've never been to Magnolia. I probably went north of it going to Gloucester. So Mary Lou is the CEO of at the Simply Better Brain, where she works with corporate entities, teams, individual wellness. And Mary Lou has spent 20 years as an innovation and new product development global researcher for a number of Fortune 100 companies, across many industries, including medical devices, biotech, software, aviation, and the automotive industry. And Mary Lou's credits her long expertise as a behavioral designer, with customers' experience, championing an empathic interviewer and listener for the reasons she has a 100% success rate with her clients in their ability to making lasting lifestyle shifts. So that's just amazing. And Mary Lou is the National Board Certified Health Coach. Welcome to season 2 of Holistic Mental Fitness Series, Mary Lou. And I do have to do one more plug. We are both in the same. We're in an expert speaking coaching course together, and we are beefing up our business. We're getting some really great nuggets from our coach, um, Majid. So, with that, welcome, Mary Lou.
Jeff, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be with you and your audience tonight, and I feel like you and I really have so much aligned with the way we approach healing, helping people heal and feel better. And I'm just thrilled to be on your show tonight. Thanks for the invite.
Awesome. No, thank you. So, before I start with the questions and grill, share a little bit about who Mary Lou is with our audience.
Sure. So you mentioned a couple things. I thought I'd just put a little bit of an exclamation mark in that to give some context for folks about, in your and leading up, there were some very hot news this summer about some falsified neuroimaging dating back to 2006. So who is Mary Lou? So 20 years as a global researcher, and ethics in research and high standards is just who I am. And so when I saw that come across my desk, I was just flabbergasted. Like I just can't compute with someone falsifying information like that. That is so for such a dread disease. So that's why it really resonated with me so much, and I just couldn't wrap my head around that. And then secondly, another fun fact I like to share is I was a international professional tennis chair umpire for 11 years, and again, I was one of the top officials in the world, and again, you don't get to a position like that not being transparent or truthful or fair.
Right.
So I just wanted to share those things, Jeff, to help folks know that, I really come at this with such a true heart.
You do. You do.
I was so bothered by that news. And then lastly, there's so much myth and disinformation out there for folks. I want you to know that I do a lot of my own due diligence to find my trusted resources based on what I've come to believe. Just wanted to share that with your audience.
No, that's awesome. I totally get where you're coming from, Mary Lou. I'm going to digress just a little bit here because I was involved with another company prior to what I'm doing now, and there were issues with the product, and corporate was shutting their doors in my face. I was getting threatening calls, and the integrity was just not there. And I'm like, this is not me. I can't do this. I can't pretend. And I care about people's health because people's health were being impacted by this. So I totally get that. And knowing you as long as I do, I'm gonna back you on your passion for what you do, because you do have a passion for this. And we all or most of us have had family members who have lived with dementia, and to come across this information is just flabbergasting. It's horrific. So let's dive in. So thank you for sharing that. And the other thing too is that we are both co-authors in the upcoming um, uh, um, wellness wisdom. Wellness Wisdom Volume 2 through our coaching curriculum here. So I'm really excited. That's coming out next month. You do talk about the Alzheimer's in your chapter. So people have to get that book and read your chapter because it's mind blowing. So
Yeah.
you have an impactful story to tell about lifelong trauma. For example, in utero,
Mhm.
childhood, and adult. Can you share a little bit more with our audience about that?
Sure. And so what I'll share is I do have a long lineage of experiencing trauma.
Mhm.
So from uh, the third trimester, when my mother was pregnant with me, um, then if we're in early childhood trauma, and just for folks, I have an ACE score, which is there's a 10-question survey. It's a very famous study done by Kaiser Permanente and whatever. I have
Mhm.
an ACE score of 7 out of 10, which puts me at very high risk for a number of things. And then trauma, situational trauma has occurred periodically throughout my entire adult life. So the details are not really important, but what is important is at 47 or 48, my body started to show the signs of this trauma.
Mhm. Yeah.
And um, that's when I learned about, I'm going to show a couple of books tonight, but this book by Bessel van der Kolk, The Body Keeps the Score. I Without going into a lot of detail, traditional medicine failed me miserably. Our current system is not designed really to treat chronic diseases. We don't really get to the root cause. Anyway, I reached out to this practitioner, and she had me do a very, very comprehensive intake,
Mhm.
and talked about early childhood trauma. And it's when I started to, I think the thing with early child, that's our normal situation, and we don't really understand that it's not normal, and then we suppress, and then our cortisol is firing. We might be in fight, flight, or freeze permanent, so our
Right.
nervous system gets deregulated. So that really was the tipping point, I would say, for me, Jeff, when I learned about this, and how, oh my gosh, this is what this is what's led to these two system breakdowns in my body.
Wow. So we talked a little bit about between 2017 and 2018 that you had severe hearing loss, and 6 months later you were diagnosed with an autoimmune um, disorder. What else gave you the confidence to move forward from them? But share a little bit about what that really means from your perspective, so the audience understands where you're coming from with you moving forward with that confidence.
Sure. Um, so the first uh, episode, if you will, was this. It's called sudden sensorineural hearing loss. And what that means is it's a cranial nerve malfunction of my auditory nerves. So what I say, it's so I've lost the hearing for all intents and purposes in my right ear. Um, a hearing aid won't help me. It's an electrical problem, not a mechanical one. It's considered a medical emergency. The more severe it is, the less likely it will come back. For that diagnosis, I was told it's idiopathic. And for folks that don't know what that means, it is no known reason. So, what do they want to do? Pump you up with steroids and treat the
Right.
symptoms, but not the root cause.
At the root cause.
Okay, that was a horror show. If anybody knows the side effects of getting pumped up on steroids, you become just like the nastiest person in the world. And then 6 months later, I had an autoimmune condition come up in my mouth, ulcers in my mouth. I still kind of dealing with that one. And once again, I was told it was idiopathic. And the dead end on that one was I actually went on to do a clinical trial for the same drug, but delivered in a different way. Mm. It cleared up almost by 90%.
Oh, wow.
But it wasn't yet approved. And I asked for compassionate use and I was turned down. So this is just the stuff that makes me, and so what else I know from working in biotech is actually any drug is only designed to work on 30 to 50% of the population. So
these are actual facts, Mary Lou?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So the other thing for like we are everything about my philosophy about coaching too, Jeff, is, you know, this idea of the law of individuality. And, you know, we are all a very, very unique ecosystem.
Sure.
So, you know, with that, it makes perfect sense. But it was really disheartening to go from being in so much pain to almost have it be gone. And then all the ulcers were back in 2 weeks after I was done with the clinical trial. So what's given me the confidence to move on is starting in 2019, I started to learn a lot about the nervous system and heart rate variability and cortisol. And then in 2020, I helped a woman. I was a project manager helped her finish a book, how to keep breast cancer out of your body based on the metabolic approach to cancer. So on that, so I'm going to drop. So here's my connecting the dots piece.
Okay.
Because I also want folks to know, like, oh, Alzheimer's is preventable and reversible. I've never heard that. Okay, here's my path to how I've come to believe. That's what I wanted to. Okay. So I spent a year almost with her, and one of my jobs was to check all 1,100 plus citations in the book to the URLs of the journal articles that support the metabolic approach to breast cancer. So I saw 1,100 articles twice, by the way. I had to do that twice.
Wow.
But just to, you know, there's so much we don't see. And then, what was after that? So then after that, where's my list? Oh, I went to the Metabolic Health Summit at January of 2020 in Southern California and sat through 4 days of scientists, physicians, thought leaders from all over the world talking about metabolic health. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, why haven't I ever heard about this stuff before? I was just like, well, like, what rock have I been living under? So that was a real critical tipping point for me, because I was just like, oh my God, I need to be going back. And only 12% of Americans are considered metabolically healthy, by the way.
Wow. That's really sad.
Really sad. And so what it means to be metabolically healthy is that you don't have more than one of the 5 factors of metabolic health. And it was at that summit that I encountered the Primal Health Coach Institute, so I'm a master coach with Primal Health, and their philosophy is all around ancestral health. So think hunter-gatherers. This is before grains, everybody. Don't need grains. And that is a really rigorous science. There's a ton of science in that program that talks all about the, that from that aspect. I have a neurochemistry of conversations, which talks a lot about how to upregulate oxytocin and downregulate cortisol and all the bad things it can do to our body. And then the final piece for me, Jeff, was in September of 2021. I used to coach for an organization called sugaraddiction.com to help people get off sugar, people with food addiction, sugar
Mm-hmm.
and food addiction. The Quit Sugar Summit in September was focused on brain health.
Sure.
And this guy, he finally got Dr. Perlmutter on
Perlmutter,
as
I
an
know him.
interview. Brett is in. There are a couple of other, the two other I want to mention for your audience. Dr. Chris Palmer has a book coming out November 15th called Brain Energy. He's an associate professor of psychology for Harvard. His book is All Mental Health Dysfunction is a Metabolic Dysfunction. Very exciting. And a book by another couple of psychologists, one in Canada and her co-author in, I think it's New Zealand, have a book called Better Brain. And it talks about, we're really suffering getting the micronutrients into our body. Right. Also because what's happening with soil. So then it doesn't get into our food. So again, this whole other ecosystem. Mm-hmm. That when we eat this food now, we're not getting all these nutrients that we really need for.
True. Yeah.
Like you were talking about, from the gut and everything within our body. So what gives me the confidence is over the last 4 years, just really being immersed and saying, okay, look, this isn't a fad. I've looked at facts.
Yep.
And that's what gives me the confidence, Jeff. And I lost 25 pounds just in 4 months, just by shifting to like a low carb, healthy fat eating plan. So I had
great.
a lot of good success for myself.
That is awesome. And so you are with the Simply Better Brain, and this is I want to share this information about the Happy Mind Pack, because as I've talked about, we're about the microbiome, the gut brain heart axis health, and this is a pack that really it gives you a punch in regards to giving you the happy hormones, the happy mind, the happy you. So many people are just down in the dumps, and they're looking for something instead of those fast sugar, high chemically processed energy drinks that are actually horrible for you. I know I used to drink them because that was a thing until I knew about different eating habits. But I want to share just a little bit about this, because it's about feeding our body with the right nutrients, because we're missing so many of the nutrients, and our body is starving for those nutrients, and we're not getting it because we're eating the crap food that's out there, the processed foods. We're being prescribed medications like Skittles on a daily basis, and it's just crazy. So take a look at this.
Something I would dare to think I would be doing. Keep your head up high.
All right, so I am always with my Happy Mind juice. I'm always with it. So this is a holistic I'm going to say like a holistic energy drink, or a drink I should say, because we just announced a new energy drink that is based off of kombucha. But you actually, Mary Lou, are evaluating this product because this really feeds the brain with neurotropics, and it works on mood, motivation, metabolism. It also has ashwagandha, rafuma, kana to work on that mood when your stress, your cortisol levels are up. It kind of brings them down. And then the focus, which is the connection to the brain, with the gut talking to the brain and really being able to release that brain fog, so forth and so on. So share a little bit about your testimonial being on this product.
Sure. So it's been about a month, Jeff, that I've been on it. And the thing I've noticed the most is definitely, I'll say, my sustained energy during the day. Like I noticed that pretty almost immediately. So that's been great. And like over the weekend, I did like a 9-hour drive from Canada home, and didn't have a coffee or anything. I mean, it just kept me really going.
Good. Awesome.
Yeah, really awesome. I have noticed that I have had some gut things I'm working on, and those seem to be improving. So share that. The one thing I know I still have quite a dysregulated nervous system. So I'm expecting that it's going to take a little bit more time to work on my nervous system. But what I wanted to share with folks is I started playing competitive league tennis recently. And I actually had a major panic attack like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm really interested. So I've seen a little bit of improvement. I'm just super excited to talk to you like every month or so and give you my feedback about what's happening to me on the tennis court.
In your journey. So you talk about, these little steps here and there, and this is all, it's what's called phased benefits, because what's happening is that we are repairing at the molecular level, and it's not that blue pill or the red pill, or it's not that that Vicodin that's going to hit you in like 20 minutes and it's like la la land and I'm out of pain. So these botanicals are repairing the damage that's there and nourishing the body as far as the microbiome, the microbiota, the hormones, the neurotransmitters, because 90% of those are created in our gut anyway. So that's very interesting. I'm anxious to see what happens over the second and the third month, because typically those who are serious about getting their health back from a physical and a mental perspective, it takes anywhere from 3 to 6 to maybe even 9 months, depending on what you were doing beforehand. For me, my experience was 9 months to reverse my diabetes, lose 60 pounds, come off of 5 medications, and then reduce stress, anxiety, and depression that was at a 10 plus for decades down to level 1 with no depression whatsoever. I was destroying my body for almost 40 years with all the stuff that's out there. So we're not here to talk about that. That's just that. But phase benefits, you're repairing and mending. So I can't believe that, like, we're already up to time here. I have to have you back because this is really interesting and it's a very important topic, Alzheimer's, and being able to prevent it and reverse it, more so reverse it, giving the hope for those individuals who are starting to experience that. I was just talked to 3 people yesterday. I'm hoping that they're on today, maybe watching, or maybe they'll catch the replay, but they have family members who are just starting in the early stages. But with that, the last question I have for you is, if there were one piece of advice that you could give anybody that's watching, who is looking for that glimmer of hope from a personal or a professional or both perspective, what would that be?
So let me just say, grab this book from the library, The End of Alzheimer's. It talks about the science of the protocol and how to do it by Dr. Dale Bredesen. for those of you who look, do your, it's got, you gotta, if just this book, The First Survivors, Dr. Bredesen says, you've met cancer survivors, you haven't met an Alzheimer's survivor until
Right.
now. This
Exactly.
is 7 people who were on the protocol and wrote their own story. So they came back from the brink of Alzheimer's. And Jeff, to your point, what's amazing is 9 months, look, is about the time that 9 to 12 months. These bodies we live in are friggin' amazing when we give it the right stuff.
That's
My
right.
number one, like, it's just not a glimmer of hope, it's a beam of hope. Okay.
Okay. I
Okay.
like that.
So it's a beam of hope. Um, just because you haven't heard about it doesn't mean it's not true or it's not working.
Right.
Here are the stories. The number one thing I would suggest to people, you talked about getting off the processed foods. The place where I start with everybody is this is what I actually say. Please use your phone or wherever, figure out how many carbs you're eating today. Okay, don't change anything, but really understand what, look, carbs, bread, whatever, they break down in the body as glucose. There's a reason that for more than 5 years, Alzheimer's is called type 3 diabetes.
Right. Yep.
So, and it's, either you don't have to eliminate all the carbs. We're talking about harm reduction here. So even if you can, in primal health, we say, look, if you can keep your carbs, I say between 50 and 100 grams a day, that's a great place to start. And it's just also because the carbs and the sugar are really adding to chronic inflammation.
Right.
And that is, and it's inflammation of your brain and your body, and it's all that damage to the cells. So that would be, it's not sexy, but it's a place to
It's
start.
valuable. It's very valuable. So thank you for sharing that. And Mary Lou, thank you for taking time for being my guest tonight. And you did bring value. And I have to have you back because, as I said earlier, this is really, really important. And,
Thanks, Jeff.
on top of yourself, on top of the Holistic Mental Wellness Company, we are changing the world in many aspects of mental health and wellness in general. And next week, my very, very special guest is Stephen Fillmore. He is a two-time cancer survivor, and his husband just came back from surgery for cancer as well. So he is now the caretaker, where his husband was the first, and he's got an amazing story. So that is next week on November 7th. I can't believe it's already November. It's like tomorrow. So lastly, I believe we all should be living in abundance and optimum wellness physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially for those that choose, because you know what? It's a choice to get healthy. I hear about, oh, that's too much money, and well, you know what? If you're not paying for your health now, you'll pay for it later. And remember this: mental fitness is the new physical health. And I will see you on the inside next time. And thank you so much, Mary Lou. And
Sure.